Hi, this is Gameli, revitunes.com, gameli.com, beamtunes.com. This will be a series of 4 videos. The first video we will get in Google a terrain, which is this. Then we will extract the topography and bring it in Revit. So this is the topography in Revit. Then we will create some shapes to bring it back to Google, and the parking and some additional buildings, assuming we are doing a project. So this will be the objects from Revit, excluding the terrain because the terrain is already there. Then ultimately we will bring the site with some graphics, assuming we have a plan, a master plan, or some additional elements like water, anything that could be a part of the graphic. We improve the water, and that's it. It's a series of 4 videos. Enjoy it. Gameli.com, revitunes.com, beamtunes.com. If you are watching my videos in YouTube and it's a low resolution, click on the bottom right corner on settings, quality, and select the highest resolution available, and that should increase the resolution. Now let's go back to Google. With the mouse, click on the wheel and move your mouse up so you make it flat. Now click on the end so north is straight. Now copy and screenshot, Control Alt print screen. Now you go to Photoshop. I already did, but this is what I did. File, new, accept the clipboard size, say OK, paste it, use the crop command, choose a decent distance, remove what you don't need. I'm going to remove this north, and I'm going to remove the Google Word and hit enter so it's cropped, and you save it. In this case I already saved it. This is the one I'm using. Go back to Revit. It's already saved the image, so we go to image. I'm on level 1 and I call it side row because I didn't make any line on that image. I insert it and I stretch it. Then you move it and scale it the best possible. I'm going to use the building to scale it. As you see right now, I made it too big, so I'm going to scale it down. If I use the roads for reference, this is the road, and right here is a little bit off, and the buildings are a little bit off, so I could stretch the image a little bit smaller, and with my arrow I could move small distances. So I think it's pretty good. Right here is this part or that. The building are very close, so I'm going to hit save. Also, I went to my 3D, I touched this and I hit edit boundary, and I went back to my level 1 and I adjusted some of the areas that it was off. Actually this is off. I'm going to move it farther away. I'm going to delete this and basically finish up tracing your road the best possible, and I don't need to record doing that. I'm going to close right now, just close enough for the video tutorial, but you trace your roads. So far we have this, and in level 1 we have this. Okay, now observe this. I'm not selecting anything, so I'm on the architectural tab. I select the image and it jumps to modify raster image. Choose this pin. Now it's not gonna move. Click away. Now it's deselected. Let's go to elevations and stretch the level mark for both ends, and I actually turned on the head. I went to south, west, east, and cross the entire thing. So if I go to south again, I know in this flat part is where the parking is, so what I did, I moved my level 2 close enough to the flat part right here. So to do it better, probably I go to level 1 and I'm going to do a section, and let's move it to the flat part. I'm going to put it in shade So here is where the parking should be. So I'm going to move it. And remember, we inserted the terrain based on level 1. I'm going to call it level 0. Would you like to rename corresponding views? Yes, all. And this will be now level 1. Would you like to rename corresponding views? Yes, all. So now this is level 0. I'm going to unlock this so we can see both. Now let's draw some objects. So I go to level 0 because it's where I could see the image, and I was dropping some cars and a parking space here, and I copied several times. So I'm going to do the same over here, but I will do it when I'm not recording. Also, let's do this. I go to architectural and I will create a floor. In this case, I'm going to use generic. So I will trace around the concrete area, and probably I don't need to record everything. I will go very rough, just close enough to where the concrete is, and I will get back in the video when I finish tracing. I'm going to put pause in the video. Okay, I already traced the whole concrete area. I'm going to say finish. I'm going to inspect the 3D now. So obviously I modeled it on level 0, so it's below. So I will use the section that we have, and I will raise the concrete just enough to make it visible above the earth, and I will inspect on the 3D, and as you see, part of the slab is inside the concrete. So now we go to massing and site, building path, and then I will trace the concrete slab. So I go to wireframe, and I will be able to see the edge of the concrete, and I will trace. We could use this copy command. I hit tab when I have the mouse on top of the edge, and then I click, so it selects in one time the whole thing, and I say finish, and I go back to the shaded, and I could see there is a big drop there. So obviously the concrete is going to try to minimize the drop, so I'm going to put a slope on this slab from here to that edge. So I touch the slab, edit, and I put the slope, and I say from this corner to that corner. The height of the tail I'm not going to change, and the head I'm going to put 9 feet, apply. Probably is good enough. Obviously here is the more critical part, but right here is flush, so I'm going to leave it like that because we are not trying to be perfect on the slopes of the asphalt. Obviously this is not the exercise that we are trying to do the tutorial, but what we have, I'm very satisfied. I'm going to hide this object for a minute, and it's good, and my cars are there. I will need to raise it above the concrete. It's okay, I could do that. Maybe I do it without recording, so it doesn't use too much time on the recording. So it's above the concrete now, so we could see that. So when I go to level 0 again, let's make it shade. Click on decal types, create a new one here. Parking, touch it, select the image. Okay, now place the decal, touch the slab. I should have touch and drag, but I could drag it now. Notice that for some reason it came in certain angle. This part is the water over here, so I'm going to rotate, hit rotate. I touch this. First I'm going to straight, now it's straight, rotate again, move it here, and 90, stretch it. I'm going to stretch this side goes here, and this side goes here, so I'm going to stretch it without recording. I align it close enough. I could look on 3D now. Since I have it in realistic, it looks good. I go to level 0, keep selected the decal, I hit move, I zoom in, and with my arrow keys I align it wherever is necessary, and it's good enough. I am going to create a mass building. It's going to turn on the mass. Let's say okay, turn it on, and I'm going to trace on top of the building. I'm going to do it with rectangle, one here, one here, one here. Tell me it's slightly off the angle is okay. Now I'm going to select one rectangle, create another rectangle, create another rectangle, create another rectangle, create. I'm going to do this also, rectangle here, rectangle here. I'm not going to be very precise. Now I touch it, create, and touch it and create. Now I'm going to find my section. I'm going to finish, and my section, I make sure it passes through the buildings. I hit the section. And I find my buildings. I'm going to make it pass through the slab. I got the bottom sitting on the concrete. I'm going to make this a little bit taller. This one should be taller. I was creating these buildings right here, just pretending we are adding these two buildings. So now I go to 3D. I'm going to change it to shaded so I could navigate faster. Let's convert this into building components. Roof, I'm going to use the basic roof over here and over here. Okay, so I converted all the walls and roofs from massing to regular walls. So we have this in Revit, alright? I could change the material to this road, or do some of the landscape or anything that you want to do around. But essentially this is what you get in Revit. So you could turn your crop on and get a view that you like. Maybe I want less area, I reduce my crop. So when you find the nice view, just save it. In this case is this. I will duplicate so I could save it and rename it after you duplicate it. Rename and say 3D site. Also I'm going to get closer and let's say get the shadows on. So if you get a view with shadows, it might look nicer. So you see here some shadows here. You could change the position of the sun. To change it, you could go here, click here, and I'm going to put from the left, tap left, apply. So now if it's from the left, it comes from here. Earlier was from here. So it's up to you. You choose the best. In fact, you could change also the angle. If I go back to the window, let's say I want to put here 205 degrees. Okay, so it moves in that direction. Or if you put 45, I got it, 45, so it goes in that direction. And if you change the angle to 15, let's say, it goes more in angle, so it's getting darker. Or if you get 45 or 55, now the sun is in different angle. So you could mess around with those parameters and get your best image. So that's one thing to do. But in the next video I will do in Google, I will bring this back to Google. And that is it for now. Please subscribe and like it and watch the next video.